Alright, everybody. Looks like we've got... Well, Liam, what colour would you describe the names in the chat? You see that little window?
What colour would I describe the names in the chat? I have no idea. Oh, blue?
Yeah, it's kind of a maybe turquoise. Looks like that's what we've got today. It seems to be like a random colour. Hey AJ, how you doing? Good to have you back. Okay, we're going to be going live in about 7 minutes. Just testing a bit of the audio. Liam, you say a couple more words and I'm going to listen to it back.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I actually did the commentary on it before. I don't really watched it back significantly anyway since doing the commentary in last year in Shanghai in China. So yeah, it was a great game. I love the contrasting styles of the Aussies and the Japanese. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome. Okay, 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes. See you guys soon.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, well we got teal. Teal's a nice suggestion.
I'm leaning more towards the light sea foam. Sea foam, a popular colour here in the west of Ireland for painting your house. It's actually similar colour to my house. So. I suppose the device you're watching on probably factors in as well, isn't it?
The what factors in?
The device you're watching it on, like your own monitor screen.
Yeah, probably.
Display.
It can make all the difference between light sea foam and teal.
And slightly darker sea foam.
Okay, we've got about 4 minutes left now. Hey William, good to see you in the chat. I don't know if we're going to have anyone from Australia and Japan. They might stay up really late. If you are from Australia or Japan and you're watching, then say hello in the chat.
Yeah, I posted in the AO All-Star group, the one from the tour, which has a lot of Aussies, Japanese players, but I feel a lot of them are going to be like 1 a.m. at 2 a.m. there. They might watch it. I'm sure lots of people watch it back after.
Yeah.
Some good scouting footage for supposed World Championships next year.
Yeah. Oh, hey Noah. Good to see you again. I was working on a little analysis project, so maybe we'll give some previews about that later on. I'm going to chat a little bit about Patreon. I asked chat a couple of weeks ago, about how we can kind of expand a little bit and maybe get a bit of support, and Patreon was suggested, so I've kind of looked into it and created a little site at patreon.com/FelixUltimate. I'm gonna, at the end of the stream probably, I'll just chat to people that are sticking around and see what people think about the proposals I've got up there, just in terms of tiers and what you get for being a patron and stuff.
How much cash content is available on the Patreon?
How much cash content?
Cash.
Oh, cat content.
Yeah.
I actually have started taking little clips out of the live streams where Rue is on screen, and I might make a Rue compilation, which is available to higher tier subscribers. Okay, right. I'm just going to turn off the mics, do a bit more testing, and we'll see you in like 3 minutes. Okay, everybody, we are going live. Hey, everybody, welcome to the stream. I am Felix from Felix Ultimate, and today, well, some people call him Lorcan and others call him Casanova. I'm joined today by Liam Grant.
You excited to be on the stream? I've been a big fan for a long time, so glad to get to join you on one of these live analysis events. So yeah, really excited about it. It was a great game. I was there, so happy to relive it.
Yeah, Liam was actually commentating on this game. When we're watching the stream, the volume will be down pretty low, so you won't get too confused with too many Liam voices. Hopefully,
I think the more Liam voices, the merrier. If we get a few more on, we get Lorcan in it as well. Steph Rapazzo thought me and Lorcan were the same person, which a lot of people think that me and Lorcan are the same person. But he actually asked me why my name was Liam and Lorcan.
How could you be Liam and Lorcan? I remember that.
Yeah.
Liam's a co-host of the Eurozone podcast on Ultiworld.
Yes.
You go on.
No. I got a question from Thomas Fisher asking me how my binge date was. I did a Zoom blind date event with one of the guys, George. I don't know if you know, what's George's last name? He plays with Pelt sometimes. He did like a Zoom blind date event, and I was on it as a contestant, and I got turned down pretty hard, actually.
Ooh.
that was my most recent live event, was a blind date. So yeah, George Hudson. Thank you, Thomas Fisher. Funny guy, George. Yeah, you should check him out. Actually, doing like they're calling it bin date, a take on blind date, but doing it over Zoom, and people can tune in and watch. It's kind of funny.
That's George Hudson. Is that the same George who was playing for JR with the fancy throws?
Yes, he's great throws.
Yeah, I liked what he brought to the to the game. And I liked it when people were like, "Oh, let's not get beaten by that," you know. And it's like, well, I mean, you will be beaten by it until you can stop it. They always do. He always did like the overhand like wrist hook upside down, you know, in like highly competitive situations, and it would work. And then JR would play very complicated, well, not complicated. JR would play very innovative tactics, of like spreading the players to the corners of the field, outdoors, and things. And again, it would work until the other team, you know, could figure out how to stop it. So I liked it. I liked the kind of challenge that kind of brought. Anyway, today, the deal with this stream is that it's not really like a watch party, but it is like an analysis session. So we kind of take our time going through the game. We'll probably take about 2 hours to get through the first half. Okay, like we'll play through the point until there's a stoppage, like a turnover or a score, and then I'll probably play through it again with my video editing software, so it's nice and fast, and then focus in on the bits that are interesting, chat about whatever we want to chat about, go through the game at the speed that we're comfortable with. And then at the end, the first half, being about 2 hours, then I think I'll just have a little chat to whoever's on the stream still hanging around. And after that, then Friday we'll be back for the second half. And Liam, you'll be joining us on Friday as well, right?
Yeah, of course. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Awesome.
Okay, let's get into the footage. I'll try and read the chat and interact. And Liam, if you can, field the questions and things as you see them, and just interact with the chat as much as possible. Basically, I want it to be a nice and interactive experience. Speaking of which, I'll just answer this question in the chat. All right, sweet. Onto the first point. I neglected to say that, you know, me and Liam spent quite a lot of time together, really, over the summers usually, because we're both working on the like LTTV crews, fan seat and things, and going around to all these international tournaments. And we actually went on a tour around America, right? After Cincinnati Worlds 2018, with the Asia Oceanic All-Star women's team, competing against all the clubs. Right? You were commentating. I was filming.
Yeah, that was an amazing tour. Really fun to be part of. A lot of the players playing this game participated on that tour. I'm sure we'll talk about them. Loads of fun. I think the biggest fun for me was just doing one game a day kind of a thing. It was so fun to work on a broadcast doing that. But we're off.
Japan not with the straight vertical. Australia with 1-to-1. We'll pass into the middle. Threatening the inside. No dumps behind the disc when the disc's in the middle. It's good use of space. Nice. Looked like quite a small gap, but they found it, made it look relatively easy. If you look at the actual space they had for that throw, didn't initially seem to be too huge, because you got this player cutting to the far side. But I guess the defender's head's turned, and it seems like fairly. I wonder how close that disc is to this defender. So you said before the game that you'd like to look at this first point of offense.
Yeah, and Lily, when they first start playing, I find how their handler movement is so good in terms of they kind of do these like banana style cuts where they go up the line and then kind of jab and turn 90 degrees and kind of continue upfield, maybe on the break side or towards the middle of the field. Another kind of forcing middle, the Australians. But there on the disc here, I think Shimada Riza, she's amazing. She's one of the best players. But you see here, I think she kind of goes up the line here and then jabs and goes back at a kind of L cut or kind of banana cut that a lot of Western Ultimate players don't do, and I think it's such a good way to get free. And pretty much every cut downfield is very similar to that. It's just good timing and good positioning is how to get free a lot of the time. I think you get a similar thing now. So downfield, kind of jab inside again, doesn't get it up the line. They kind of do that. I think it's kind of like banana cut in the handler space. They do it there and on the other side again.
Like
It's just hat.
it could almost be like a 3-person dominator kind of thing, couldn't it? It seems like it's mostly just 3 players for the duration of that, mostly, and they're not getting disconnected, they're not clogging each other. The occasional, there's like a 4th player that like comes in when they see a space, but on the whole, it's been worked around by 2 players mostly, and then there's always like a 3rd kind of trying to like making a triangle with it. Nice.
Yeah, I just love it. Really quick, smooth offense, lots of movements. Everyone seems to give each other space, particularly the handlers. I think they're very, very good at that and see throughout the whole game.
Yeah, like there's space in between each of the offensive players on Japan that we can see. The camera isn't zoomed out as much as I'd like, but the spacing is nice. Okay, on to the next point. Force middle from Australia, Joe Malmsteen points out. Hey Tatenda, good to see you back in the chat. Joe Malmsteen is not sure how much he likes force middle against the Japanese teams, since they're good at throwing insides. But he doesn't know if he's seen it used that much. Oh, pick. Let's have a look. It's almost a theme of Felix Ultimate broadcasts to pick apart picks, should we say? Although with this camera, no, we can't see it. It just comes on the edge there. It's already happened. Fast forward. Okay, just coming back in. Is that Cat Phillips?
Yeah, I was actually chatting to her yesterday. We'll turn over there.
You have to help a little bit with the names.
Yeah, I know everybody. And that's Shiori Ogawa launching it there. Love that. Again, that's another kind of banana cut downfield. She it was her birthday. This day. She turned 25. She was on the All-Star tour as well. That's her there. I love her. She's so much fun.
Playing to the camera, the Japanese D-line there.
Bit of an inward pivot there, you might say, Felix.
Yeah, let's have a look at it. It's been the topic of some debate recently. Yeah, so let's see. There's an inside. This is the inside break, maybe that Joe Malmsteen is talking about against the middle force. But this is the Australia O line, right? Catches it, turns outwards, all right. But the turn is very quick, and she ends up then facing downfield, and then by stepping inwards, then now she obviously like changes to face here and here and here, if facing is such a dynamic thing. But yeah, instead of pivoting outwards whilst doing the turn, just gets balance and then steps across and inwards. Plenty of separation. And then, yeah, crossfield with the disc for the easy catch. I mean, the defender had no chance really. Caught up some ground, but wasn't able to make the interception. Just heard your buttery biscuit catchphrase.
I can't hear myself, so I'm going to be like definitely repeating what I say. But Joe Marmicine talking about the celebrations there. The Japanese are so good at the celebrations. The men's team on this day were doing all sorts of funny things as well. They love the camera and they do it well.
Yeah, it's like,
that's just
it's brilliant. It's like a photo.
Yeah.
It's so synchronized as well. The joys of video editing.
They plan all this stuff as well. Like they talk about this before the games and things like that. Like,
I think it's really good for getting players like synchronized with each other. You know, if you synchronize with cheers and celebrations and dances and things, and you keep them fairly organic, then it just helps with your whole synchronization as a team, and you play better as a team. Oh, just too far. So I mean, that's got to be like a good option because of that separation, right?
Yeah.
It's quite.
That's Kim's Sprague with the hook there.
There's a bit of an awkward situation here. Picks up, fakes to cat, but like really that fake is only going to be good if it gets the defender biting in. If not, then you should just throw it. And hey, it does happen that you think the defender's going to bite you and then they don't. But the fact that the defender doesn't commit to it and then starts closing down, then it's really kind of like advantage Japan at that point. Because if the defender bit in, then cat would be able to attack past and go into this space over here. So yeah, good defense to just kind of like get that initial advantage, but then, you know, a great step around, break backhand. And then where does the deep cut come from? Are we going to be able to see it? No, we can't see it. But this is the defender that's marking the deep. A little bit of a toe drag, but no, not really anything that's significant. And then so much separation, just a little bit too zippy.
Yeah, they need these kind of shots. Australia do well in this game is nail those hawks, which it was really hot. It was like 40 degrees Celsius, which you probably doesn't come across in the. This is the hottest I've ever been at any tournament.
Really?
By a million miles. Like,
wow.
Blows Hungary anywhere out of the water by, it was like 92% humidity.
Oh, wow. I can remember filming in Cincinnati and just kind of sweat pouring down me as I was just stood still.
Like, twice as worse than Cincinnati. So much worse. Not even comparable. Like,
wow.
Praying for a day like Cincinnati in Shanghai.
Is that dangerous for the players? Being that hot?
I guess so. A lot of the Asian countries are used to it, like Philippines and stuff like that, like Southeast Asian summers and stuff like that.
So Australia are doing something really cool here that I really like, and I'm sure anyone that watches any of my videos will know that I love this. Surrounding the stack. Yeah, the Japanese players are bunched together, and so they surround rather than all marking on one side. And from that point, then they're like in a dynamic team play kind of situation. So then when the cut comes under, this person isn't like tied to a person, so they're able to then flash poach across, and then the Japanese players will have to run towards them, right? Because it's one of the disadvantages of the vertical stack is you've defined where the spaces. And so if the defenders then, you know, redefine that by not allowing it to be space, then suddenly in order to go to the space, you have to go towards the defenders. And that's exactly what you see there with those first two cuts. I think she should stick with this player though. So if they're playing like to the flex defense principles, then when you're near to somebody and they're in space, and I'd say she's in space now, then you stick 1-to-1 to them. Because, you know, they've got the same number of players as you, right? So really just you got a cat over here, you got a bit of double coverage over here, but then she's left to be free. Not in a particularly threatening space. Let's like throw and go into the middle. I think you should probably go behind the disc at this point, just to work it over to the other side. Ends up being a little bit awkward in here, but it's not too bad. Bit of a bigger step than needed. And then actually she's doing really well here. I think, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know whether it would be better to go over to the other side or just to keep doing what she's doing here, because she's not marked. So then she's able to take the immediate one here, and now she's in quite a like threatening position on the sideline, and you see the defender. She fakes out, so she falls onto the floor, and then she's kind of off. She's off to the races, going across the field. Then, if that catch is made, then she can cut into this space here, and then you've got a couple of continuations. But unfortunately, I think maybe just just rushed this throw a little bit far, a little bit low. Yeah, bounced out of the hand. 9 times out of 10 that's probably a catch. Yeah, lane bracket. Yeah, rather than bracketing the stack, it's more like a deep and under poach probably. Talking to AJ in the chat.
I like that quick pick up there, Yeah. Let the Japanese defender settle and just pick it up, put into space. I think teams too often walk up to this. If you have the advantage, you see something open, just pick it up, get on with it. That's my thoughts on that. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I think offense has natural advantages, but those are like can be exaggerated in organic fluid situations. And if you slow down and set up, then actually that can play to the defense a little bit because they can set up their D and they can see the space on the field that the offense is trying to kind of create. So yeah, quick starts are great. Punishing running down the pool. Oh, wow. That was good effort from the D, but great offense. Oh, and that was a fine option. It's just a little bit too much. So right at the beginning here, the pool comes in and picks up, and then you see the defenders arrive really quickly. Both of them do, and she just waits until the defender runs past and then goes up the line. And both of them have kind of just committed a little bit too much. So then power position, and you see now these defenders are also committed a bit much. Now they're having to backtrack. So she's able to then throw. There's plenty of space down here. The deep defender does well to kind of like to see that the pass is going to come, but she hasn't pushed it too far, so the receiver's able to go up and make a good grab on it. Like had to like hear that the defender's coming to know that she had to go that early. There is quite a lot of space though, so she was throwing it a bit shorter, then it probably would have been fine as well. And then
that's a crazy grab. That is a crazy grab.
Yeah, it was really good. And then I love the way that now just all the Japanese players are just like flooding downfield. Like that's literally like the Australian defenders have run down the pool, run past someone, and then had to run all the way back to their end zone.
I think AJ's right in the chat saying that I think they were coming down in the zone and just never got it set at any stage.
Yeah,
that's what it kind of seems like to me. They just got busted right there at the start, and we're just all over the place from then on.
Yeah,
lucky to get the turnover.
Yeah, I think so. It's a shame about this throw. Just a little bit more of the front edge up, maybe a bit of a lower release so that front edge has to be pointed up, and that's a goal. So just a little execution error there. How's it all sounding in the chat? Is the level of the game, the audio level of the game, good as well? It's something that I can't really test. What happened there? I know the video can be a little bit jerky, like the first time that I kind of rewind and play it through. But hopefully it's relatively smooth for the viewers. Yeah, just pushing the throw a little bit too hard. I mean, quite a lot of pressure from the defender. Nice and close. And a good
Milan says there's no field audio whatsoever.
Interesting. I'll turn it up a little bit then.
Make much of it. So back on offense.
Can you hear that?
Tomoko, the captain of this team, and also
should be able to.
World Games representative. To see this sharp flick go into the end zone, it's a great goal for Japan.
20% now. Okay. Do you want it to be louder, or is that a good level? Bearing in mind we've already got one Liam Grant voice. This is a really nice accurate throw. Look at the kind of like setup on the offense. Like it's that thing of spacing again. There's no stack, and they've got like two at the back, one almost on each wing, and then like two forward, cycling in and out of the central position. Reminds me of hexagonal offense that I'm a big fan of. Slicing across into the middle. And then you see this player reacts very, very quickly. As soon as she sees there's an open cut, she's like, okay, well, I'm going to threaten this immediate deep look. And just able to catch, set the balance, and get a really accurate throw out. Very nice.
A few of these Australian women, I know Kat Phillips.
I'll make it a bit louder.
Yeah, from this
There you go.
roster,
It's a
we
bit
had
louder.
Rosie Dawson. She also played World Games as well. So Tom Tullett being one who was called up from reserves at the last minute. So we have another chance though.
Yeah, the ghost of Christmas past now. We got 2 Liams going.
What more can you tell us about the tournament? You say it's like super hot. Did that?
You can probably hear now with the field audio. There was all this kind of hissing, and maybe you hear it a little bit in the background. It was crazy. All these crickets in the trees in China. Oh, it's Shiori absolutely killing it again. I love her so much.
I'll rewind it. So the crickets in the trees making buzzing noises.
Like, it's actually deafening when you're like walking. You see the trees in the background. You're walking around there. It's deafening. Shanghai is a crazy place. China is a crazy place. I could talk about it for hours on how bizarre of a country it is. But we'll focus on the ultimate side of things.
So good. You can see her like picking her line here. So as soon as this cut is like bending and going down, she takes a line that's going to intercept if the pass goes up the line. And then, just the footwork at the end. It's that thing of the legs being in sync. This was on a video that I released yesterday, or a couple of days ago. See, the legs are like perfectly in sync for the last couple of steps. And she just plants off that left foot to then dive forwards to the disc. That's brilliant. Like matching
I've seen her do this. I've seen her do this so many times. Like, she sets up those traps. She pretty much like sits behind the person to make it look like they're free.
Yeah.
And then just goes like, I feel like she could cut that off if she wanted to beforehand, and like the Australian player wouldn't throw it. But she's just like, now I'm gonna sit in the grass back here and wait to pounce, just make it look like she's free. She's so good at that.
Perfect. Yeah, just wait till the last moment. And that means she won't get faked out as well. Like if the person fakes this throw, boom, that's a fake. Then she's like got perfect separation. Whereas if she committed under earlier, then that fake would mean that then she would probably bite on it a little bit, which meant that it would open up the deep option a bit more. So really, really good, awesome. Yeah, yeah, AJ, yeah. AJ noticed the synchronized feet as well in the Christian Foster layout D for Sockeye video that I put out a couple of days ago. Hey Florian, welcome. We're gonna have Florian again on the stream next week. I don't know if we're gonna see what happened with this throw. I think maybe someone pulled out of their cut or something.
Ryan, bit of contact with Mark. Trying to find Ian Griffiths, dishes it over. Swings to Bob.
Great minds indeed, AJ.
Ian Griffiths anchoring this particular O-line. Finding every second pass. Running low on options, but
See the Japanese like to sag a lot in lanes kind of there when they get the opportunity. And I know we talked about forcing middle against the Japanese. That's a lot of time how they play defense in Japan. A lot of sagging and forcing middle, so it's something they're definitely used to.
Yeah, I noticed that with the men's team as well, in that Japan USA game that I've looked at a lot. A lot of sagging in those lanes. 100 catch, then the hammer. Oh, he's into the hands. It's unfortunate that doesn't work out. It's quite a long offense from Australia, right? That's probably like 20 passes or something. And swinging it around. As you say, the sagging in the lane, causing it to be a little bit more contained. Quite a nice upline into a dangerous position, an immediate inward pivot as well. But that's probably related to the fact that the defender is on the floor over there. You don't want to pivot towards them. Into the middle. That's a nice quick pass across here. Like to see that space and then just put the kind of floaty backhand out there very quickly. Yeah, quite a lot of like very disciplined dumping and swinging. Another up the line. This is the one-handed catch. Yeah, it always bugs me. And then the hammer. I think the hammer's a good option because the separation is there. She does have to slow down a little bit, but the defender can't get it. It's coming down fast from the sky though. It's quite bladey, I'd say, which can be good for avoiding defenders. And it hits the hands. It's just unfortunate that it slips through. Yeah, just folds through her hands.
I can tell you right now, our hands are so sweaty. Tom Tullett was playing in the men's game. He chalk and then was turning into goo. He was like the hottest I've ever played in. Like he's never experienced a chalk turning to goo like that before. His hands got so sweaty. So I think a few of those drops resulted in that. That's such a dangerous pass, that one, eh?
Yeah, just flat through the end zone. Vertical stack.
Brave.
The birthday player has a solid 9 3/4 release valve up the field.
Nice cut to open up the field there.
From the Australian players, but now see a
timeout.
I think
that dangerous.
A lot of people, Katie Locke calls that the J stack when they do their vertical stack with a kind of off-centered and 6 people in the stack.
Okay.
I like that J stack.
So they got this player
J.
free here, and I like that the thrower keeps looking at this player. Like when a player is free, I think the thrower should keep looking at them and just get the disc to them, because a free player, it doesn't matter that they're losing yards. It means that when the important thing is when they get the disc, they don't have a force on them. So they're able to throw the disc anywhere they want, and a lot of the time throw and go and get the disc back. If it's like an underpass. So yeah, someone being free is really good to get the disc to them. So I'm quite glad that she stays facing them and pivots around. She's tempted then to look back, and she's like, "Oh wait, no, I should actually stay looking at this player." The force, comes around all the way around to hattle it, and so by basically focusing on this threat, it's got the force committing to it, which means that then able to throw anything at all downfield. And cut here. You can't really defend downfield when there's no force, right? So makes the cut to get the disc, and then she also throw and go. Yeah, so I love that technique. That lifting up that right foot, releasing the disc before the right foot hits the ground, so then you can push off your pivot foot and start running. It's a good way of avoiding a travel and getting loads of acceleration out of your throw. And then she's got these yards, she can just keep taking them. Unfortunately, the deep throw doesn't come. This is a really nice cut of opening up the space on the field. Just a tiny little shoulder fake to go up the line, and then just turning, and then a really nice pass leading over to the other side of the field. Tight defense here, stopping that cut, and then a timeout. I think there's a debate at the end of this timeout about how long, what the stall count is on. So put a number in the chat of what you think the stall should be on after the timeout. Okay.
Some good forcing from the Australian players, but now I see a timeout being called as the pressure mounting on the
What do you reckon? Let's get some numbers in the chat.
Japanese squad, and they want to take a breather here and try and.
It has to be stall 2. Well, she just took her hand there, the Aussie. What did she put up? Suggesting what it should be.
I think two's a safe guess. We've got a couple of guesses of 2. Graham's in on 2. AJ's got a 2 guessed. Any other guesses in the chat? I mean, it's not the most interesting question I've asked the chat, but again, it's one that's debated after the timeout, I believe.
It'll be for sheer athleticism. It'll be close.
Joe Malmsteen says it's interesting how
Disagreeing with some
closely the
people, but
Japanese set their stack up on that side.
based on consistency.
Yeah, I wonder if that ties well with that cut that they did to get the disc over to the far side. Most teams would do the opposite and try and push the stack to the far side. I really don't like it when that happens. Like,
Yeah, that would
I remember like
played our
Player
last
and Brighton went to GB and then came back to Brighton trainings, or like pickup it was, and then they kept on moving the stack over to the break side, so that then there was loads of space on the open side for them to like cut and get free in. But for like a thrower, who can break the force, when that stack moved over to the break side, I felt like there was no options anymore, you know.
and they've been
Like all that space had been eaten up, and then to get free on the open side, it would take seconds of cutting.
I believe they had women's teams in the past, but they've reset
Replying to William's comment there, I think this is the J stack. I think they come in.
last year.
And we see the chat about the stall.
Bringing a lot of semi-retired players.
So looks
You
like
see,
they're
actually, Japanese players when they hold up their fingers, they do differently in Japan. Like if you do the number like 7 in Japan, you hold up one hand and you put another 2 fingers on your palm. They'll never hold up like 2
Like that.
hands of fingers.
or like
Yes, like that. You'll see them do that, and that really confuses people. That's how they do. They actually hold up their hands differently for
right.
numbers. It's not that relevant here because usually if it's like 6 or 8 or stuff, people are like, "Why are you putting up 5?" Or
Okay, so
so
if
that-
anyone didn't see the debate, then was because the Australian player was adamant that the stall was on 3, and the Japanese player was like, "No way, man." Let's just have like a final look again at the number of seconds.
Release valve up the field. Some good forcing from the Australian players, but now
I'm gonna go into like super detail on this. So that's the frame that she catches. So we're on 21 seconds and 44 frames. It's 60 FPS. So 21, 44, and then where do we think the timeout? What frame? I think that is probably the frame of the timeout, and that's 23:26. So it's not even 2 seconds. But I guess as soon as you say 2, then it comes in on 3, right? So it's not actually that far off. Noah was right in the chat, guessing 3. Milan.
So this is what I call the J stack there. You kind of see it right on the first cut. It's kind of like everyone in the vert and kind of curved at the end. And it kind of looks like a lowercase j if you looked at it from above. And also J Japan. I just like that that name for it.
Yeah, I like the D here. This is 1-to-1 at the front, and I think they know that that's like the second option probably. So it looks like the first option is cut from the back. The second option is then front, and then you've got the next 2 defenders sandwiching, practicing these 2 here, and then another 1-to-1 down here. And then you can't really see what's going on off screen, but there's a couple more defenders, a couple more offense. Yeah, that's really good. Oh, is that stall out? Oh, stall out. Okay, interesting. All right, so disc is checked in. Did anyone see what the decision was on the stall, whether it was going to be 2 or 3? Okay, disc is checked in there. That's 38-12. And then the disc is released there, which is 45:07. 38:12 to 45:07. That's like just under 7 seconds. Did anyone see whether it's coming 2 or 3? So
Hard to tell from the video, but if either is actually not that long of time, is it, Art? I'm not surprised she's called stall out at what I'm saying. It's not that quick, is it?
yeah. I mean, I counted to 8 then. So even if it was in on 2, doesn't seem it's not outrageous. Being contested. What's the spirit like between Japan and Australia generally?
Didn't look like she had it.
Generally pretty good from what I've seen.
Not sure
They
what
seem to get on okay. Like
so
communication is a little bit of an
I'd say
issue, but
that is stall 8.
they seem to get on fine. And in all these
Not
games
the
that I
first one in
watched,
this
they're
point.
totally fine.
Now the look downfield, the deep shot is there. Blady flick right into the path of the number 0 Yuri. Fantastic play. Japan
Oh,
on the roll
such
right
good throws, aren't they? They're just better at throwing than anyone in the world, the Japanese. Like I went to a tournament in Japan as well. I know it was a beach tournament, but there were some of the weaker teams there from Japan, and everyone is just so good.
Really?
Like if you had some kind of target practice or competition, all the Japanese players would just beat everyone else. You know,
Yeah.
just would.
It's so accurate.
Yeah, and I don't think that's people really understand how good they are. That kind of stuff. Like top to bottom of the roster, like there's some good throwers on this Aussie team, but there's also people who are just not that good at throwing. Well, pretty much everyone in Japan has that kind of level of flicks.
I like this cut. So I think this is the same cut that I liked, or the same player that made a cut earlier that I liked, and I think it's the reaction to the face marking, right? I like being face marked, but you do have to be like smarter and have to like move only when you got that connection. So she waits until the thrower turns around, and then boom, it's eye contact, it's connection, and then on the next like step, she then just immediately goes out to the side, and that means that the throw can come super quick before the defenders change direction, and then the throw is perfect because it just leads her out so that she can then go down the line with it. If it was a bit less accurate, she'd have to attack it, but then leads her out down the line perfectly into a power position. I wouldn't say that's a travel, and then a little bit of edge on the disc, meaning that it has to be accurate. Otherwise, there's not really much margin for error basically when the disc has got edge on it like that. But it is accurate, so goal. Like good speed from. You can see how fast the Australian defender is.
Right into the path.
Not able to do anything
Yuri.
about that.
Fantastic play. Japan on the roll.
Yeah, a little hop to get both feet in the air and then explode into the cut, Joe Marmorstein says. Yeah, so she's kind of like hopping the whole time, and then when the eye contact happened, it was like, boom, this hop is going to be my cut now.
I kind of call that like a jab and roll. She kind of rolls out in the space in front of her and allows almost to be kind of thrown into space. It's not like one of those American style, like run really fast and turn. It's just kind of a jab step and kind of show the space you want to be thrown into.
Yeah, like small smart movements rather than like big fakes and cuts. Another hammer. Another slip through the hands. Like that, there's nothing wrong with that hammer decision. That's really, really good. Sacking off Cat there to stifle the play a little bit, but she gets the disc and then breaks inside. Bit of a slip before that catch. Good to hold on to it. Cat with a good attack down the line. Yeah, it's not a throw and go throw, I'd say. Just a throw and then go. And then sees the thing that we can't see, which is over here, free player. And the hammer's, perfect because nowhere near any defenders, but unfortunately just slips through the hands again. Australia have got a bit of a funny relationship with hammers, don't they? You know about that?
I know about the particular hammer. I think you're talking about the 2012
Yeah.
hammer drop. It's actually amazing. They did a audio podcast kind of thing on it. I think it's called The Hammer.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard it.
Which is that on Ultiworld?
No, I think it's IO Ultimate or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's one of their own Aussie productions, but it's like a 30-minute clip of interviews with the guy who threw it, the guy who's supposed to catch it, the game in general. It's pretty funny. Like it's a good little story. So if you haven't heard that, I think it's the Hammer. I think it's IO Ultimate, which is like your man Evans's like Australian Ultimate publishing. Not that you should listen to Ultiworld though. I should really be plugging my own podcast, Eurozone Ultiworld, but no, the Hammers they did a great job of that.
Yes, that is what I was referring to. Maybe there's not so much. Maybe it's a different thing on the women's team to the men's team, but the Australian men's team is very aware because they had a hammer turnover that if it was completed, then they would be in USA in group stage of the World Championships in 2012. This looks down. I mean, there's no way for us to tell, and I give her the benefit of the doubt. But like the way that the disc like slides in her hand,
Another rescue grab by Japan.
I don't know.
That looks up to me. I kind of feel like she inverts it as she slides intentionally.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm expecting her to catch it in the left, and she ends up catching it in the right. Let's have another look. Yeah, but then there's like a frame where it looks like the right hand is open and bounces up, like there, like it looks like the right hand is open, and then it's like, oh, actually it's in. So it looks to me like there's a moment where the left hand is on top, and the right hand comes off like that, and it's sliding, and then the right hand regrips it, But I'm looking at like just a small group of pixels, so I give it a benefit of the doubt. She says it was up, so it was up.
Rescue grab by Japan.
Milan doesn't think that hammer was perfect. He thinks the defender could get it. You went to the end zone, you mean? I guess, because the other one was nowhere near a defender. Let's just have a look at this D. Yeah, the throw is just a little bit floaty. And then Cat Smith closing speed, changes her angle to attack the disc. Gets a little piece on it. And then just sets off deep, right? Surely.
Get a hand to it and get it back for Australia, and she's streak deep.
Yeah.
And she takes it! The cat-to-cat magic!
You see how many... like, this is the best timeout goal. Because, look, that's 5 Japanese defenders. Yeah, good call.
I don't like timeout calls and play that much, but that is one of the ones where I think it's appropriate, where, like, it's going to be like stall 4 or 5 before you actually get an option from your teammates because you're being stalled. So, makes sense.
Yeah, that's a high impact few seconds for Cat there. Just the other team's on offense around your brick mark, and then you get the block, and then you streak deep, and now you're on offense outside their end zone. Does anyone want to be? What's it called? Where you can approve messages in the YouTube chat, or the opposite.
Admin? What is it called? An admin or
admin or manager? Does anyone want to be that in these streams? I'm looking at the regulars like AJ or someone. I'm very happy to bring more people in to help out. Because I'm kind of trying to multitask on like a lot of different things whilst doing this. So yeah, just shout out or drop me an email, Felix at Felix Ultimate, and I'll add you to some YouTube list of admins for the live streams if you're interested. I'll have to figure out how to do that, but it won't be a problem.
So far across, I thought she was on the sideline.
Yes, bragging, a lot of...
Interesting setup here, right, from the Australians.
So weird. I think I like it. I'm not sure if I do. They're pretty spaced out, which I think is good.
Yeah, but like I would very much like them to stop looking at this player who's surrounded by all the defenders and just immediately go bam bam, and then try and get some defenders overcommitting over here or something, or just through past them.
Yes, bragging, a lot of space here.
Okay, yeah, did hit that and then faked over to the other side. Okay, nice. Let's see where that cut came from. So it comes from the back over here. Good timing on the cut. It's just as this defender repositions, because when that pass goes, this defender's expecting this pass to go, so then starts repositioning. But then, yeah, just it's that fake happens, and that gets this defender moving over there. And then is that Cat Phillips again? Times the cut just perfectly to go over there. And Cat Smith has cleared out the space.
Yeah, I think the Japanese defender is maybe thinking there's 3 or 4 people on that side near the front corner, just to all clear out simultaneously and leave a lot of space there, and trying to get caught out.
Yeah. Yeah, something I've talked about before is like the false signals sent by poaching. And it's kind of related to that, you know, like this player knows that there's like some poachers over here. Like that's the last time she kind of looks around. There's like a couple of players poaching off over here. And so therefore when she chooses how to mark her player, it's almost like bearing in mind that there's poachers over there. But then obviously when those poachers move, then there's suddenly space. And then, you know, if you look deeper into it as well, not in this example, but if the poachers don't move and you've repositioned your defense to rely on the poachers, then those poachers then actually end up getting stuck there because they're doing, you know, more than just their job. They're having to help out lots of other people now because, you know, they were in the position to help them out. So they kind of get stuck there and then the defense breaks down. But yeah, good spot on that, seeing all the Japanese defenders clear out of that side, opening up the space.
World-class athlete.
Really good fake as well. A good fake is so valuable. Like a good fake gets all the best players on the opposition committing. You know, if it's a believable, realistic fake, then you get them like all the defenders make a move for it, and then you can then throw to your best players. You know, the people who the best players on the other team are trying to mark are then made free by your fake.
Yes, trying to mix it up against the Japanese side, but they look to hawk through it. This one could sit in the air, but well read. Inch perfect hawk again from the Japanese.
Yeah, we got Milan criticising the camera work in the chat. Milan's part of the LTTV crew with me. Does plenty of filming. Yeah, I think they could be a little bit more zoomed out on camera one as well, Milan. But I've seen worse. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I tried telling them that, but they only speak Chinese, so I couldn't really communicate with them very well. Didn't really know what was going on. This is like 6 hours into straight filming for us as well. Yeah. So it was tough. Yeah, the heat, it was really tough.
This game is at the end of like a 9-hour YouTube video. Yeah, I think I tuned in at the beginning of this tournament, and you know, in this situation here, like the camera was like looking at like this much here, so you could just see like the thrower and the force and maybe the dump. But this is like better. So I think
it's not the worst. It's a little harder for analysis, but it actually the cameras were good. They've got some good like replay shots.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so catch the huck. Players flood down, bit of faking, hit someone who's running through. That's nice. Like some players will like just heads down, kind of run to set up the stack, begin the end zone offense. But you know, it's much nicer just to take the open pass. Would have been nice to maybe throw and go here, like to actually kind of because she's in space, she can throw and then run and follow the disc and potentially then get it back, but not essential. This player falls over. Couple of fakes. That's nice. Player comes running through the middle, then stops. Then the throw and go move, but it's not needed. Just breaks around. Let's see where that scoring cut came from. Over here. Yeah, just well timed onto the break side.
Kind of experience this Japanese team is beating there.
The ESPN angle, Jim Olstein says.
Yeah, 100%. The ESPN angle.
At least we don't have the American football lines all across the pitch, though.
The soccer lines are kind of confusing. That like really bright white line is not actually the end zone of the soccer box. So. Still not the May West. Cool stadium though. I actually haven't seen that many shots of the crowd, but was a fun little stadium atmosphere.
Also a bit of crack.
I think when you see the crowd, you kind of realize how hot it is. Everyone's like topless and fanning
Yeah.
themselves.
And we see
Right.
some more cat magic. Cat Smith dishing to O'Neill.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like to play. I played Perth
Aggressive mark on.
2006.
Huge hitting dive there.
You know, that was hot, but like it sounds like this is like way worse than that.
It was 40 degrees at nighttime. Like at midnight, it'd be 40 degrees Celsius.
Huge bidding
Wow.
dive there from Alexander, but unable to reel. Phillips trying to put early pressure on.
Hiroko.
Joe Marmostein's talking
Ball
about
there.
the
Across
previous
the field, great grab under
an
pressure
opportunity
is
for an
Hiroko,
inside pivot in
and
the
they bang it
previous
again.
point, so I might go back and have a quick look at that. It's very easy for me to do that. I go back to here. So what does it say? I think it's a great example of when I think you should turn inside. Before the scoring throw, the disc is slightly behind, so it's more natural to turn that way anyway, even though you're making an outward pivot, because throwing to that far side. I'm not sure I've 100% followed. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which pass Joe's talking about on this one. Have you got a better idea, Liam?
Yeah, I think when she bounces here, so she kind of like catches in her belly and turns facing down the field kind of thing. Almost like hops and twists. There.
What,
I
77?
can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
No. The next pass, I got caught out there. The 39, see, she kind of like, as she's catching it, she's turning around. I think that's what he's talking about.
Okay, because for me, this is a catch, and then it's an inward turn, which means that she either faces the most threatening direction immediately, right? Which isn't hard to know what it is when you're in this position, because it's pretty much just straightforward.
Yeah, I think Joe was saying it's because it's thrown slightly behind her. That's why she turned that way, as opposed to many people, if it was kind of led out, like a round swing, she might have turned the other way.
Right,
She's
yeah,
kinda,
okay. Yeah, so...
kinda,
Yeah, go on.
you had the throw been kind of out, kind of more behind her downfield, she might turn the other way, but because she almost has to stop and turn and twist and catch it, she just carries momentum inwards, is I think what he's pointing out.
Yeah. And this is why I don't think the turn is the most important thing about inward pivoting. Like, I think the turn is largely dictated by where the disc hits you, you know. So Joe's saying if the disc was just slightly out here, then it makes more sense to turn around the outside. If it's in the inside, it makes more sense to turn the inside. I think the important thing is where you face after that, like, first 0.2 seconds when you're turning. Where you face and where you pivot and why you pivot, because she turns and faces inwards, but then she sees this cut immediately, and so then that's why then she then makes the outward pivot to hit the cut. You know, it makes perfect sense. What I wouldn't want is like an auto fake outwards, or just to catch and then go onto the backhand and wait there. I much prefer to kind of stay in this position, like facing up to the center of the field. Yeah, Joe, I think that's right, Joe. I think that's what we chatted about there. Right? Have we got it? Oh, Milan's off. We'll see you later, Milan. Stream will be up for you to watch later on if you want to catch up on it. Yeah, cool. Okay. Joe says we're in agreement.
Oh, definitely. You get to a point in your ultimate career that you can't play every single game.
Oh, we watched this point, didn't we? But did we go through it again? Oh, there was a turn. Yeah, okay, we did watch that. And then this score here. Travel? Yeah, travel. Just on that last little step there. They're so like I made a post to Reddit. I can't remember exactly which one it was. I made a video post to Reddit or something And then the only comment someone was like, "Oh, travel," and it was like a tiny travel, you know, like pretty inconsequential, not very interesting, but it's just like that's the feedback. Someone traveled by 2 inches. Do you keep up to date with Reddit, Liam, or are you more of a Facebook kind of guy?
I don't do Reddit and I don't do Twitter. And that's just for, I think, my own mental well-being.
Okay.
I abstained from both of them, which is such like ultimate chitter-chatters dominating those things. I don't have Twitter, so I don't know what's going on. And I don't have Reddit. I've clicked into Ultimate Reddit a couple of times when people told me about something or like say I was mentioning something and I kind of want to know. But like, I don't have an account or don't have the app. Yay,
Right.
more cheers.
Yeah.
Let's just analyze these cheers. Like, this is what people want.
It's good, yeah.
This is the action right here.
It's all synchronized.
Sure you get. What's your take on the caps and the sunglasses on top? There's one of few players that does wear it, but everyone has the caps and sunglasses on top. I've seen them like midpoint, depending on which way the sun is and which way they're playing, like put the glasses on one direction,
Really?
and then turn over, they're playing defense and the sun's the other direction and change them. I've seen that happen.
Wow. Wow.
That's what they have the glasses there to like put on midpoint. They do that sometimes.
Okay, wow, that's next level.
Yeah.
I've seen someone who turns their hat around from one side to the other when they go from offense to defense. I've not heard of sunglasses being used like that before.
And we get the early huck. Flick coming through. We got Felix underneath.
Don't see many players actually wearing them though, like other than just on top of the hat, right? I don't know if I like players wearing sunglasses when they play. I think it's
It actually wasn't sunny at this game, even though it was really hot and humid. It wasn't really that sunny.
Right, okay.
No, this is some textbook Aussie offense here, mate. This is they're like, why are we trying to like play short passes and around all these people? Let's just lash it.
Yeah. So they did have that long offense where it ended in a turnover, and then they had a bunch of passes where they didn't make much ground, and then turf to flick. So then they're like, okay, look, we just need to try and score on each offense. So let's just throw this into the end zone. Double coverage.
Yeah, it's Cat Phillips though.
Yeah, exactly.
I was talking to Daryl Stanley before I think USA were playing Australia and U24s, and I love talking to Daryl. He's a great coach.
Yeah, me too. I should get him on the stream actually. He's a really good guy to talk to.
But he like classifies players as he's like 9 different categories, and one of them is like shooter, and one is a goon. He calls players goons, and he'll tell this to his players before their matchup, so they kind of have an idea of what the player is like.
Okay.
And we're talking about Australia. He's like, yeah, Australia's pretty much entirely goons. A nation full of goons. Usually players are kind of big, lanky, and lashing or tall, and like that's kind of that's how he described entirely Australia.
Apart from Cupcake.
It wasn't in the apart from Cupcake, but that was the goon play, the last point, but it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah. Play to your strength. Just a little bit low on that pass, not really. Just execution error from Japan on an under. You stopped us theoretically. Now watch this trajectory. What were the other ones we had? If you face resistance, then throw the disc a distance. We came up with all these. Oh, nice. He says that the Japanese are the best, most accurate throwers. It's a nice one. Yeah, we were coming up with all these synonyms or whatever for when people huck it deep on a high stall. Because I said if in doubt, and then it was like it feels like there should be a rhyme for that, but we couldn't think of one for doubt, so we just started coming up with lots of other ones. Look, she like points like I think I'm 3 deep, you know, there's only 4 Japanese defenders deep of me, but I'll run past them all. And sure enough, she does. And then the disc is perfectly out in front.
there's a great opportunity to poach, but one of the Japanese players there just doesn't quite see it.
Hmm.
I think the last one coming out there, you see.
Yeah. The player that's just
Not
marking
switched on.
starts coming under. So then she starts committing to that. Yeah. And then this player's kind of seen it a bit late. Commits a little bit late. Yeah. It's really nice. Really nice throw kind of out to the space. This player's got their hips turned away from where the disc is going as well. Yeah,
The other three Japanese players are so switched on, even though they don't get there. But the other defensive players are always looking for opportunities to switch and poach. But the one that probably could have wasn't quite switched on.
Well, like, it feels like she was almost like poaching for the previous throw. Yeah, so that fake there kind of got her deep, and then after that she starts coming under. But then that's when the throw goes past her.
Pretty much every huck you see to Australian players, there's always 2 or 3 Japanese players there. So rare that you throw a huck without someone trailing off and helping out. They're very, very good at that, even though they don't get to be there. But
The heads
they are
up.
switched on. Yeah.
Nice. If you haven't swung it in a while, make them run a mile. Jason Thompson, good momentum read there. Yeah, very true. Jason Thompson from the Hive. Shout out to the Hive. Anyone else from the Hive here?
That's the Hive. The Hive kind of sounds like a swingers club.
The Hive is a collection of coaches from around the world who have or are or will soon be introducing hexagon offense and or flexion defense to their teams. Basically, over the years, I think that was my WhatsApp, by the way, so don't worry about that. Over the years, people contacted me saying, "Oh, Felix, you know, we're starting training hex offense. Have you got any advice?" Or, "Oh, we just played the last season hex offense and we really liked it. We just thought we'd connect with you." You know, or asking questions about defense, or saying that they've been playing flex. And gradually over the years, more and more of these people were messaging me. So then I decided, hey, I'm gonna bring everyone together. You know, like, instead of me being the kind of connection point for everyone, I got everyone together, so that then they could all connect with each other. So the Hive is what that is. And it'll be.
I get it, because of the honeycomb hex, the Hive. Very clever.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't take credit for coming up with the name. I was trying to think of a good name of it for like a week, and then I asked someone in the pub, and they said, "You should call it the Hive." I was like, "Of course I should call it the Hive."
I love the throwing technique for this goal here. I remember watching this and trying to recreate the Japanese kind of squat pivot. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, like getting
I like that technique.
The center of mass gets down so fast and so low. Yeah, it's very nice. Making sure she's in there, because who knows what's going on with those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Very direct. There's something that. Yeah. Okay. So spacing and different angles, right? This angled cut is something you don't see in well disciplined stack offenses, especially the vert stacks. And the fact that this defender is in perfect position now, and then as soon as this goes, boom, then they're in like the worst position possible. Just shows how much damage can be done by moving the disc quickly and having players all connected with each other, and also players in space. If this player was in a stack, they wouldn't have this as an immediate option, because there'd be players all around them. So just keeping that kind of spacing of the offense, hitting players when they're free, just like short passes, quick ones through the middle, and then it's just opened it up so that then continuation pass here, penetrate through the defense, got a perfect power position, just needs a well-timed cut, and there's actually 2 that she could hit with the drop-down technique, as you say. Very nice.
Australian defense starting to find their grit, pressure, and
Yeah, if anyone
very rowdy
if
cheers
anyone
from
who
Australian men in the bleachers.
is coaching Hex or Flex, you know, would like
Unfamiliar with the
to
club.
chat to some other people, some other coaches that have
She's,
done the same
came to
recently,
Australia
then drop me an email, felix@felixultimate.com, and I'll
that
get you
bandage
involved in the
over there,
Hive.
that looks dangerous. I'd be worried about
Australia coming
ACL
out with a
injury
tight
there.
vertical stack.
But Kat Phillips
Lashes it deep.
sends it long to Alexander, and she takes it.
Yeah, not much the defender could do. They did have a bid though. It's a very tight vertical stack. Quite a tight, yeah, like, oof. Could have been a flying layout D here. Does well to kind of attack it. Steps out immediately, rips it deep. Got separation. Disc hangs a little bit, but she's always got position. Goes up 2 hands. Yeah.
When this Hawk happy Australian team
So the
rips, well, it can only
just
be
lashing it deep seems to be working for the Australians a little bit.
space,
Yeah.
receiver floated up there.
Yeah, I feel like
Great
they just
grab
got
by
done
the
twice, the Japanese, and like
Little bit of pressure
need to
on
change
that by
something
Saki,
defensively
but
that,
just not having the
you know, she shouldn't be competing
Skewed.
in the air with just
That
one
pull.
person at that stage, or they shouldn't be allowed to isolate Cat Phillips and I think that's
Pretty
Danny
good A right
Alexander.
there.
Hmm.
Should be able to isolate those two players as easily as they did. Like with that stacked with 3 people like shoulder to shoulder, the other players just like get out of the way and let our kind of 2 big power players take over. And I think as defense, you got to try and do more to make that more difficult for Australia when you're in
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah, especially when it's like a tight vertical stack like that, then you can surround it and gain quite a large advantage. The tighter the stack, the more advantage can be gained by surrounding it.
I think it's a good
And it
option.
means it takes away that
Slight
deep
green
without
dead disc
you
on
know,
the
giving
sideline.
a really easy under.
Try to set up your
Forces
offense.
the offense to do something
You've been
a bit more
practicing
creative.
your offensive strategy so much from that brick mark position. It's probably a lot easier to get your offense flowing. So I would have probably done the same. And now we see a deep shot, but this one isn't going to
Overthrow. So AJ is just asking in the chat whether I've got a single This Is Hex video that's been updated with recent developments. I would say I've got like 2 out of 3 kind of up to date This Is Hex videos. So I'd say the Hex movement decision tree video is, you know, relatively like new take on it, because it evolves kind of all the time. It's kind of, you know, my understanding of it isn't perfect because I'm kind of like learning it and all the nuances and stuff. So it, you know, evolves over time. But the hex movement decision tree is relatively recent, and then there's like a hex shape explained video, you know, which is also, and if you go to felixultimate.com, they're linked on the like strategy hexagon offense page. What I haven't done is made one about technique and about controlling your balance. I've touched on it in a couple of videos, but I haven't done like a full breakdown of it yet. I've got a bit carried away talking about defense and making videos on defense instead. Yeah, there is actually, yeah. Jason knows there's on the Ultimate Athlete project done by Melissa Whitmer. There's like a full hex explanation video where I do talk about technique as well. We'll see. I think I'll be able to put that on my Patreon site in time as well. Maybe not immediately, but more on that in a few minutes. We've got a couple more points of this half left. Oh, that's a sick bid.
Comes flying across though. Bengtson did well. Just to
Yeah, that's
concentrate on
Shiori
the
again.
I'm gonna try to come around the corner and
I put it as one of my like an article on the team of the year from the AO region, and Shiori's on it. And she just picked up her glasses there, doesn't she? No, she doesn't get that bid, but she makes so many sick plays in this game. And it's her birthday. She's a legend.
It's her birthday.
It's her birthday at during this game. It's her birthday.
Wow. Well, happy birthday. She's watching for that day.
Yeah,
It's so close.
this is a great job of avoiding contact there as well. Kind of bends around.
Yeah, I guess one of the advantages of staying staying so tight to the player during the build up to it, as with the other D, is that then when you choose to go for the disc, you're kind of automatically going like away from the other player. So it's rare that you actually make a dangerous play when you're coming from that angle. Yeah, you can.
It's kind of same. Yeah.
You can see she like
It's the
changes.
same thing again where she's hanging behind them a little bit, trying to set that trap, but she doesn't actually get there this time. But it's still very, very close to getting that D.
Yeah, and it almost lulls the receiver into a false sense of security, right? Because like you can't see the defender, so you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll be fine. And then pow, she's laying out past you. Very close. Let's see the glasses. She's crawling to pick up her glasses. Yeah, there she is. And then the spike.
Did you see the Nathan Klakovic video of the Siege of Limerick? A huck smashing someone in the face and breaking their glasses.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, like down the sideline, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was editing that in my house, and he has like a SpongeBob like trap remix, and we watched that clip like literally 1,000 times. It's still funny every time.
Yeah. It's brilliant. It's like that Simpson, man gets hit by football. Just simple slapstick humour.
Does in Oliver Hart's Japan. Go down the field now. Think about the crossfield flick now. An outside in backhand to a narrow channel.
Really nice throw.
Goal. That is
really nice throw.
Japan offense again.
Probably not legal, but there are wild monkeys in Japan. I've been warned when visiting some shrines.
People hear that commentary. So I cut out the kind of like post-score pre-replay stuff, and so I've clearly missed some critical bit of conversation, because then when it comes back in,
Probably not legal, but there are wild monkeys in Japan.
probably not legal, but there are wild monkeys in Japan. What?
She owns an animal cafe. The woman who just caught to this, I can't remember her name, but she has an animal cafe in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Sure. So her favorite animal is a monkey. What is it? I can't remember her name. Yeah, I think I'm talking about her animal cafe.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's your co-commentator that makes the actual comment. But yeah, if that's a conversation, that makes sense. Yeah, they have like cat cafes in Japan that I've seen, right? I think they've got them all over the place. That sounds like a dream to me. Speaking of which, Rue, do you want to come say hello? Oh, there she is. I keep looking at this, like having that defender like furthest back. I really want the throw and go to be really aggressive here, but it's like it's not. So that's why I kept playing it. It's like my brain's like, yeah, sprint. It's like, no.
She's like rubs her nose or something. She's like, whatever.
Nice. Get this one here and then immediately pop off. That quick disc movement means that then it's just so hard for the defense to adjust and stop all the angles. Inside fake. This is such a nice throw. Like releasing the disc here with that separation, having to get around this force and making sure that like one of the best players in the world doesn't get a D in the backfield in the deep space.
Crossfield flick now.
Really nice.
Japanese teams are one of the few teams that take on this type of throw, like this kind of bladey same third, but often like Western defense, Australian stuff that aren't thinking about it happening. They don't think it's going to come because it's a narrow angle and it's kind of they won't maybe try that kind of throw that they often catch people off guard. They're just so used to doing it, and it's kind of a high degree of difficulty. I think you do have to be quite accurate with that throw. Quite often people think the option's over, that it's same third, you're not supposed to huck there, or that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah. Japan have got quite a lot of those kind of throws, which it seems that they throw more than other teams. I think it's they train like I don't think that they train in the same they don't run all the exact same drills and stuff that I think you see a lot in America that then come over to UK and into Australia as well to an extent. I think there's like a kind of different style which opens up lot different angles and different throws, and yeah, they're then confident making those passes. Right, we're at half time. You got any halftime thoughts before we round off for the day?
I'm just getting memories back of China. In Shanghai, there's 24 million people, and you can't drink any running water there. That's just like norm. Tap water is not drinkable for anyone.
Really?
So the whole time you're having to get like bottled water, or like drink certain particular drinking fountains. But yeah, it's just going back to me. It's such a weird place, man. China. We'll never get to go there ever again. That was the a one-time thing.
Yeah, well, imagine not having drinking water and not being able to leave your house as well.
It's crazy.
Right, I've managed to compile all the replays, so we can watch all the replays now back to back. So long as it doesn't. There we go. It means we get the really, really dramatic replay splash all the time. It's like it's well, I don't want to swear, but it messes with the mind because it's just like suddenly you're in this 3D computerized futuristic environment with a spinning logo. Russ, another Hive member, shout out. If you don't want to be chastised for the same third hucks, then just call them long strike cuts. Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of what they are. And then like defenders think like after 3 seconds, oh, it's not coming, it's too far, kind of slack off, and that's where the Japanese get you. Essentially, what it is, long strike cut.
Yeah. There's a bit of chat about the Ultimate Athlete Project video. So that will be available in time on the thing, the Patreon that I'm setting up. I might have to break the video up and maybe re-record bits of it and stuff because I don't think they want exactly the same video to be released. But that will be becoming available, and I'll update it with the newer. Not that anything dramatic has changed since then that I can remember, but I'll make sure it's all up to date. So moving on to the Patreon thing, and so that's the last we'll probably talk about Japan, Australia today. We'll see the second half on Friday. Liam, you'll be joining us on Friday as well, right?
Yeah, can't wait.
So yeah, tune in then, same time. But if anyone wants to stick around and offer their opinion to me and give me some feedback, then I'd appreciate that. So I asked the chat a couple of weeks ago, and I'll be interested to hear what you think about this as well, Liam. I asked the chat a couple of weeks ago, how I can kind of get some support in some way, engage the community, and kind of like make up for the fact that my main income, which was from filming Ultima, is now kind of disappeared, and from coaching Ultima. And so I kind of put the question to the chat what their ideas were, and people mentioned a Patreon page. So I looked into it and I've set one up now. So I'm going to show you that the stream in a second, and see what people kind of think about it. And I haven't I'm still open to feedback. I want to get it finalized probably by next week. And there's a question as well of if some money is going to be involved, then what does that, what's the incentive for people? And I kind of come from the angle, and I've kind of always been like this, is that I want the stuff that I make to be free. I don't want there to be someone in the world who wants to see my videos and can't because of financial restrictions. When it comes to the videos that I'm making every day, and the stuff that I'm doing regularly, I want people to be able to kind of see that for free. And so then it's okay, well, how can you actually kind of bring any kind of monetization into that? And then people in the chat suggested early access, which means obviously they will be free eventually, but for the first week or so, then it would be patrons only would get the get access to the videos. So I thought that was a good idea. So I've incorporated that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the page that I've made, and kind of ask chat for your opinion. We've got like 14 people, so I am keen to hear all of your thoughts. Don't go and like sign up to this immediately, because it's well, you can if you want, but you know, I might make a couple of tweaks depending on the feedback I get today. So when you become a patron, it charges you immediately for like whatever amount that you choose, and then it charges you again on the first of the month. So like right now is like the worst time to become a patron, but this is why I want to get it done by next week, because you know, if you pay $25 a month now, then it'll charge you $25 in like 2 days as well. So here's the basic kind of thing, and you can see I've got the like the bee and the hive kind of theme going through it. I thought I'd make it kind of like you choose however much you want. So like the absolute minimum that I could, of like $1 a month to be a patron, and then you can see it gives early access to the videos. I'll upload them on Patreon so they're ad free as well. The YouTube ads, I think it's like every like 500 viewers, I think about like $1 comes my way, so it's pretty sparse. And so, you know, becoming a patron for $1 a month is, you know, worth like so many more like YouTube views. And then I'm also starting a Discord community. So me and Liam are chatting right now on Discord. After the streams, quite often I'll like stick around and chat on Discord as well. And so anyone that's a patron will then be involved in that, will be able to join that chat, and you know, it can be text chat, it can be voice chat, basically like a community of people who are enthusiastic and about this kind of stuff. Then we got onto the $25 a month, which is a lot, right? And I don't expect many people to be like, or like, you know, I expect the people that kind of do this one are like really kind of into it, or they've got, you know, just a very high steady income and stuff. But I'm accounting it for this, that some people will understandably just like sign up for 1 month, you know, watch the videos that they can, kind of cram it, you know, and then unsubscribe. And that's cool. And so I wanted that amount so that I'd be happy with people doing that. And then, yeah, there's like bunch of videos that are already ready. And then there'll be like regular stuff added in that tier, which will largely be stuff that I'm like commissioned to do by teams. So we've got like a 2.5 hour online classroom session that I did with a team from California a couple of weeks ago, about team defense and flex and stuff. So that's kind of available in that tier. I got a WhatsApp group for people who are interested. You see, I've got this little this little bit about which is linking the thing to the whole Hive kind of bee theme. But yeah, let me know if you think that's silly and I shouldn't do that. I've done it over here, the honey level, and yeah, the honey level is that's some merch. I saw someone mention merch. Yeah, Russ mentioned merch. All I've got at the moment is some misprint discs left over. I sold all the Felix Ultimate discs, and there's like a few misprints left. So I figure I can sign them, and there's like a few that I can give away. Maybe I'll make another order for discs. I need to see what the interest levels are. So yeah, that's basically I haven't done a great job of like explaining it. I need to like make a proper video of explaining it and how it works and stuff. But I'm keen to kind of give more and gather people together, You know, and that's why like I've set the kind of lowest thing as the lowest possible amount. So this is all created from like your recommendations, like Patreon and the early access stuff. I think that's cool because it means that it can still be free, but people that want to support me have now got an option to support me. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about it. We can have a little chat. What do you think, Liam? What's your impression?
Well, you definitely have to put the cat content in there, right? That needs to be part of this subscriber section.
Yeah.
Sell that. People want more kitty action, so I think you need to highlight that there in one of the payment options, one of the Patreon options.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's good. Like I follow a lot of stuff like Blind Boy Podcast, which he does Patreon, but like he just has, I think it's like €5 or whatever, and you don't get, he keeps everything free, which is kind of bizarre, but works. People are so invested in him and want to support him that it works. And then I do another podcast that have a Patreon, and they have like their normal 1 hour pod a week, but then they have another extra 10-minute one. So I think it's fine to have some exclusive content. Like that's probably what's going to get you more subscribers. So I think it's cool. I think you gotta figure out what people want or don't want, or it's cool you have the commission piece in there. Actually, I never realized you'd done stuff for the Empire and Poland and stuff like that. So
yeah, the Empire was kind of an interesting one. I actually went and visited them. The owner paid half my flight. The owner of Empire paid half my flight and went over, and they were interested in defense. I'd been chatting to Brian Jones, and he said they were looking for a coach, and then I ended up running like a couple of drills in their trials, which was cool. But the logistics of getting me over to America, whether I'd be able to get a visa to work with Empire for that season, was just a bit more complicated, I think, than the owners wanted to really kind of engage with. And they brought Brian in as the head coach anyway. Brian was keen to work with me, and he wanted to have like weekly phone calls. But the communication kind of broke down with the owners, so it didn't really develop into anything. But it does mean that I've got a couple of videos that I made them, which are like related to countering side stacks, which now I'm, that's the kind of stuff I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not going to like release it on YouTube, but I want it to be out there for people that are interested in it. Russ likes the bee flavored text. Just reading through the chat, what people are saying. AJ says seems pretty solid. Yeah, and yeah, I've done like a few. You were saying, Liam, that you didn't know that I did commission stuff. I've done a few of that, and I started doing like live streams with the team with Mohawks that I coach, and then I kind of branched that then out to other teams when they got in touch and were interested.
Yeah, I think that's a good way for you to make money. I'm also out of a job. I was almost a full-time sports broadcaster. I was doing stuff for surfing as well, and that's all gone. So right there with you, mate. We were kind of one of the few people on the globe trying to make money from Ultimate, but I'm having a great time not working at all.
You're being forced to only travel to the beach to surf, aren't you? Day after day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been so sunny and lovely here. I'm just having the best time. I feel guilty saying that, but unfortunately it's the truth. I'm having a great time just hanging out doing nothing.
I think there's only been like one sunset that hasn't there's only been one or maybe two sunsets in the last 2 or 3 weeks that have been like clouded over. All the other ones I've been able to see out my window, and they've just been like amazing. Oh, Jason's interested in working with Brian Jones. Yeah.
I like Brian a lot. He's a good commentator. He's a great commentator and a good coach. He actually came to Ireland for a weekend. Was it last year? Like messaged me saying I'm flying over for the weekend. I'm like, pretty fucking far, mate, to fly for a weekend. but had some cheap flights and came over and coached one of the Irish under 24 teams just by coincidence. They asked him, drove across the country to go to Cliffsmore, had a pint of Guinness with me, and then basically flew back to America.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy, and he will travel the world just for Ultimate, and he'll stay up all night to hear about a new defense, and he's definitely very passionate for the game. So AJ mentions he wishes there's a tier between 1 and 25. So I've got like an idea which I think it makes more sense to come after this stage. Well, I mentioned earlier Noah Brinkworth, who did the stream with me last week. He's actually recording audio for analyzing Salas-Bills versus Groot. Sorry, and I'm going to give that like the Felix Ultimate edit. So I'll take his audio and I'll cut it to the video and highlight the things. And that's kind of something that I could do regularly. So I'm thinking like the Swarm, right? Who are people who are like all super keen and involved with coaching and everything and analysis. Like anyone could just like record audio of them looking at a point and analyzing it, and then I can do the editing bit, and then I could potentially then begin to release those videos to like the Swarm, but maybe like a lower tier which just have access to those kind of like guest created or guest analyst created content. So maybe I'll have like a $12 is a bit much still. Maybe it'd be like $8 level where you have access to those guest and analyst videos. Is that something that sounds kind of interesting to people? Because there's a lot of people with a lot of good ideas, and if I can help them to get them out there, then I think that's a really positive thing. But I just don't know how it fits with the Felix Ultimate thing and YouTube and stuff like that. Maybe a subscriber stream once. Someone recommended I make the first half of these film sessions free, and then the second half are like patrons only. But that goes against my I want everything to be free kind of thing. Subscriber stream. Yeah, it could be cool. It's quite a big chunk of time, like live streaming, especially when I have to like watch them through and then pick out clips and stuff afterwards and learn how they went and improve them. Are you coming from the same place next week, Liam?
As in my broadcast, more than likely. I do have a better podcast set up at my house, but the internet's just nowhere near good enough, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Do the podcast because it's not live. But I'm trying to improve my internet situation. Maybe what day? On the 1st of May, I might be getting new internet. So I'd like to have my fancy mic, but I don't count on it.
Well, I got to see Ravi's fancy mic the other day. And,
is that a metaphor or?
we had an intimate Zoom chat, and
oh, about what?
No, it was an LTTV Zoom chat. Had the whole crew there.
Oh yeah, I'm on that. I missed that, or I can't remember what I was doing.
Yeah. He was bragging how his mic arm was better than mine. It definitely is. Like mine's like not like pretty cheap mic arm, but quite expensive microphone on the end of it. Maybe I could have that on my patron thing. Like if I get 10 patrons, I'll buy a new mic arm. I'm just trying to read through the chat. I keep getting distracted. Middle tier.
Yeah.
So at the moment, the voting for like which game to have on a live stream is done on YouTube with the community there. Could make that a Patreon thing because you can start polls on the Patreon things, but I don't think that's worth a tier. And the thing about having this $1, starting with the $1, is that people will pay what they can afford, right? So there'll probably be like some like $3, $4, $5, $6 in there, and then I can almost get like a feel for like, you know, what people are willing or able to kind of part with every month, and then I can think about then like where to put another tier if there's other content or, you know, voting things or whatever. So I feel like maybe adding the tiers later on is easier than, you know, removing them or guessing them now. AJ thinks a middle tier would encourage people to go in at $5 or $10 more than going in for $1. Yeah, well, I mean, it's the thing of like, I mean, people in the chat, like you could, I mean, you're probably like, well, yeah, it's the core crew that are in the chat right now who are sticking with this. But like, would you just play the like $1 flat one, or do you like that you can then choose how much you pay kind of above that, or would you always just go for the minimum? You know, with this kind of setup and this vibe. I haven't actually scrolled down to the about thing. So down here is like the about. So I'll just let it sit on there rather than like read it out. And that kind of explains kind of where I'm coming from with it. I did a bit of that with my voice just now. But that gives you something to read. And maybe, you know, maybe people who are like, oh, should I become a patron? And then when they read this, I'm hoping they won't automatically just go for like $1. At the same time, if that's all you can afford, then you know that the $1 means a lot. Like I say at the bottom, like just seeing people's names who are supporting me means so much. Like that's kind of the motivation to keep me going, is like, oh, this person supports you, this person supports you.
I think I'm gonna have to Christian Bale on you now, Felix. That's all right.
Okay, I've still got to catch up with the chat. So
Yeah.
I will stay on for a few minutes. Thank you, Liam. I look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Yeah, thanks so much, and great to have everyone in the chat as well. Hopefully you'll come watch on Friday, and yeah, best of luck with the Patreon.
Thank you. Cheers, Liam.
Yeah.
See you Friday. Just reading the chat. Russ says I could do razzing. What is razzing? Razz around in disc golf. Oh, there's something above that. What if we could pay to have private chats with a group of voices? Yeah, I'm hoping like the swarm will be kind of like that. Like the swarm will be people who are very interested in this stuff, especially if they're like regular rather than just paying once so they can watch the videos and then unsubscribing. The people that are like regular swarm will definitely be like very, very keen. You get our monthly sub money, we could help you have more content to edit as evergreen videos. I don't know what the evergreen videos reference is, but is that similar to the like guest analysis content? Viral stuff. Another thing is time. Like these last few weeks, I've been working like a lot, like a full-time kind of content developer. It feels like. Doing 2 live streams a week and then going through them and stuff means that there's not a huge amount of time to do more than like, you know, a couple of other video focuses, or, you know, setting up the Patreon is something I've been spending time on as well. If I want everything to be free, you can set the videos that you want to make and set a fundraising goal to meet before you release it. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I could be like, you know, I want to do a breakdown of Japan's offense over these, you know, sets of 3 or 4 games, but that's going to be quite a big project. You know, it requires quite a lot of time going into them all. And then it's like, what if I get a certain amount of patrons or like a certain amount pledged, then I'll do it. I don't know, it feels a bit like holding people hostage. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's not a bad idea though. I haven't thought about that. This is good. Russ feels like he owes me at least $10 a month. I mean, that's good to hear. Like, I kind of want people to like think about like how much they value my work, and you know, and then make a decision on what they can afford or whatever. You know, like it's just good for people to kind of think about it, I think, and then everybody's happy. Advantage of Patreon is pay what you want, right? You think people, yeah, if you see prices, but I think if it was a $0 minimum, then I think more people would actually do $0 than would do what? No. Yeah, loads more people would do $0 than $1. But I think less people would pay something. Like, I think once you've got people paying something, then it's much easier to then like pay, you know, just $1 more or whatever a month than it is to go from 0 to like 1. I think that's the biggest step. AJ agrees with Russ, you'd pay higher than 1. But if I'm trying to make it a permanent income, then I do want to encourage people to go in for more. Yeah, maybe. But it's also possible that like if Ultimate expands, then the sheer numbers will mean that the $1 subscriptions will be, you know, great for me. And it's also possible that if the commissioned work increases, yeah, so like, you know, if I continue making loads of public content, my name gets out there, and then teams that want one-on-one time or, you know, private team online analysis sessions, then actually like if I do a couple of them a week, you know, then that's making a living. Obviously time is limited, so by doing more of them, I'll do less of the YouTube ones. But I feel like I've been doing like too much YouTube recently. But like those are things that can maybe come in the future, like having this $1 tier where like I'm not having to do like more than I've been doing the last few weeks. Kind of for me that kind of makes sense, because then I can add stuff later on, or I can re-tier it later on. Kind of I just want like to engage the largest number of people in the simplest way, I guess, initially. Right, AJ's right. If I've got music on Bandcamp, people always pay the minimum, or if they're your best friends, they overpay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're quite a kind of close knit kind of group, like relatively, with like very specific interest, you know, in like ultimate frisbee analysis. It's like so niche. So yeah, I mean, it's that is the ultimate question, though, isn't it? Like, do you trust people to pay what they value it at, or do you force them to make the decision? You know, and we play a game that's based on trust, so I'm tempted to you know, lean towards that side. It's not as black and white as I say, but evergreen is my edited clips. Kick it, I'm not through sorry, you can have even more content. Evergreen as evergreen videos. My edited clips. I was thinking if I'm doing too many YouTube things, I could actually just put them on Patreon, and then if you want to see the extra videos I make, you just go to Patreon. They'll be free for everybody. But you know, that'll direct traffic towards the Patreon page. Be interesting seeing behind the scenes videos of how I do my edits and recording and etc. Yeah, when I first thought of the live stream, I thought, what about if I just live stream myself making a video, you know, and you'll just see me like frowning at the screen, like going through, and then being like, in this point, blah 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 blah, and probably then messing up the audio and having to re-record. So I don't know how interesting that'd be. But maybe the pressure would help me make it faster and be better at it. Something else, like when we have that Discord community, I can imagine just logging on to Discord like 2 hours before the stream, chatting to people, you know, and then after the stream as well. Like now, instead of it being just like me, it'd be like we'd go to Discord and, you know, instead of it being, you know, me and text, we'd go to Discord and we'd have like lots of voice sound, we'd have text. Like I can see the community working and being something like I'd love to be a part of. Looks like Russ wants to see the behind the scenes videos as well of how I do the editing and recording. What about like outtakes? You know, ones where like Rue walks across and the tail goes in my mouth when I'm trying to record something. I guess everyone wants to see that, don't they? I did start recording Rue when she comes up and just starts rolling around on my desk. If I wanted to go this route, I think you could create a community of Ultimate Film Analysts. Yeah, I'm leaning towards that as well. I think that would be cool. The guest content, the behind the scenes. I think that would be cool. And I think there is a tier that can be like around $8. But I think that maybe comes later when we have those guests involved and we have the community built, and when we can bounce the ideas off and make sure we kind of do it right rather than just charging ahead with something without really knowing, you know, what the group that will be creating it and the group that will be consuming it will you know, are after. I'm not a cutthroat money making it. Yeah, no. No, it's not my strong point, I don't think. Just like how to rinse people the most. I just want to give everything for free. And trust everybody. If a season happens, we plan on filming games, so I could offer to analyze that style of footage for teams privately. Yeah, right. That's the kind of that's mentioned over here, I think. Talk to me about games or teams you'd like me to look at. I mean, I can remember thinking that I'd much rather look at Hex and Flex teams than I would, you know, traditional Ultimate. But the first job I got was actually looking at the Vert Stack team, and they're like, "Can you help us with a Vert Stack?" And I'm like, "Okay," and that was cool. I enjoyed it. And, yeah, it's a useful term, they said. That was Oakland actually, and then they came back asking for team defense on Flex 2 years later. AJ, I think that the $1 pay what you want is definitely in the spirit of Patreon and the spirit of what you're going for. Yeah, I agree. Thank you. I would look into patrons. Stencil 25, welcome back. Good to know that you're here. I would look into patrons which support video game reviewers. Right, different industry and field entirely. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, I want to get this done next week. So I will continue to do some research, but I don't know what kind of concrete ideas will come that differ from this stuff. We'll see though. Video game reviewers. Well, like, I watched some videos of like the angry video game reviewer. You seen that one? Here's a game video of Ultimate, and here's what my insights are into it. As a thought leader. Rue analysis. Yeah, I could break down all the Rue footage and try and figure out what's going on inside her head, why she makes the decisions she makes. Live commentary of Rue's daily activities. I could also have like you know, if I make $100 from patrons pledges, then I'll get another webcam and I'll have it trained on Rue for the entire stream, and then it could be like in the other corner. Is that something people would be interested in? I mean, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. So I should just make it happen. Could do anything. I know there are people that do video game coaching, which may be more on level with what you're thinking. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Although I mean, I'm set up to kind of do that, and I've done a few sessions like that, which is kind of like online coaching. Either going through footage or introducing concepts like a classroom session. Yeah. Oh, there is a route here. Yeah, I could have a route here, couldn't I? All right. Well, thanks for all your thoughts. It sounds pretty much like this is good to go then, right? Are there any things that people think should critically be changed before it goes live? Or do you think it's in a good enough state to go live now? I've thought about like the carrot and stick approach as well. So, you know, on some of my YouTube videos, I might make a longer video and then have an advert in the middle. And before it goes into the advert, I'll say, you know, look, if you don't want this advert, then go to patreon.com and there's an ad-free version of the video. So just a little bit of push from that side, as well as like pull by offering early access and things. Yeah, I think things to think about. But yeah, I'll read through the chat again after the stream, because it all kind of happens very fast. Thanks everyone for your thoughts. Like, if you want to, if you've already decided that you're going to be a patron, then the option is now there, right? So this is the website, patreon.com/FelixUltimate. But there is a chance that I'll make a small edit or something before next week, and so maybe, if it's not convenient for you now, then maybe next week or something. If you have any thoughts about it, if you think that, if you've got any thoughts at all, then email me, felix@felixultimate.com. Thanks for everyone's help in like getting this set up and figured out. Like, I hadn't thought about early access, and that is really good for like ticking all the boxes of what I want to achieve. So thank you very much for your feedback on that. What I will do now is round off the stream. So it's been a good one with Liam. I kind of want Liam to, like, I know he's an incredibly funny person, and I think maybe he was like, oh, it's an analysis stream, we need to do lots of analysis, but I think I'd like it if he was a bit more verbose and everything. So hopefully you enjoyed the stream today. I will be back on Friday looking at the second half of Australia versus Japan women's final from the Asia Oceanic Ultimate and Guts Championships. Thanks for all your feedback and all your support, and I will see you again very soon.
Oh yeah. Yes, you're good. Yeah. Oh yeah.